Alrighty everybody, Jason back again. This is a little bit of a different video. It's something that I wanted to talk about because it's kind of big news in the knife world right now. Just happened very recently, and it's about Benchmade and about Benchmade knives and not so much their knives but their company and what their company has just recently did. And the flack that they're getting for it. And it's partially, if anything, is mostly the Oregon Police Department's fault for why they're having so much trouble right now with their customers flattering the idea or already making up their minds over boycotting Benchmade and no longer wanting to buy and support Benchmade company products. So, to boycott or not to boycott? And is Benchmade anti-Second Amendment? So, let's go right ahead and get into it. Alright, so if you don't know already, Benchmade apparently assisted one of Oregon's police departments in the destruction by cutting up guns that were ordered to be destroyed, that the police department needed to destroy. So because Benchmade had the facility and the tools and the capability of doing it, the police department asked them if they could do them that favor of providing those tools and making that process happen. So this is what the police department's Facebook page posted up. They've taken it down somewhat rather quickly, but it was up for long enough for things to get stirred up about it. But they had a few photos of Benchmade employees, I'm assuming, and maybe also assisted by police department personnel. And they simply said, "Thank you, Benchmade Knife Company, for assisting us by cutting up guns that are ready to be destroyed." So, huge trauma reciprocated from this. So, because the police department didn't give you any information of why these guns were being destroyed, where these guns came from, what exactly is Benchmade's role in doing it, is Benchmade supporting the destruction of guns and being anti-Second Amendment, there's nothing else given. So that's why Benchmade was like, crap, contacted the police department and said, hey, you've got to take this down and you've got to put something else that gives more information so we don't look bad, because people, from what they're seeing, it's making us look bad. So Benchmade also decided to release a statement saying Benchmade is aware of the recent post from local Oregon City Police Department. We apologize for confusion and concern that the post created. These were firearms that the Oregon City Police Department had to destroy in accordance with their policies, requested use of specialty equipment that Benchmade facility had to follow those requirements. And as a supporting partner of local police force, showing support for community law enforcement near the facility, they obliged the request. So Benchmade states here is a proud and unwavering supporter of both law enforcement and Second Amendment rights. These are commitments that we do not take lightly and will continue to support well into the future. So when asked for clarity from Oregon City Police Department, Chief Jeff Band made the following statement: when property is to be destroyed, it is policy of Oregon City Police Department to destroy the property, including firearms, in accordance to our procedures. The Oregon does not sell firearms. So the whole idea that, well, rather than destroying them, why don't they just resell them, since there's nothing wrong with them? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. Why exactly you really can't, or at least police departments and federal departments cannot resell those types of firearms. This is a clip from OpenSecrets.org, where they posted breakdown history, and did some diagrams and stuff of Benchmade's contributions to political parties, where again it's portraying that, Benchmade is more supportive of Democratic politicians. These are also politicians that are in and from Oregon, so that's your own take on whether or not Benchmade is totally Democratic political views, or if they're just supporting their local politicians, and why are they supporting them? I don't know. It's relatively for the business, the corporation company of Benchmade, $5,000 to $8,000 a year is chump change. I mean, it's a small bit. As to their reasons why they supported these particular politicians, and why these politicians may happen to just be Democrats, those are all details that we don't know as the general public. And I mean, if you want to really dig that far, by all means, go for it. Look into more depth of why that money got thrown to those people. It does paint, this itself does paint the picture, does make it look like Benchmade is a Democratic supporting affiliated company. But to how much of that extent do you know? Do I know? No, I don't know. And I'm not going to bother looking into it that much. And this is pretty much why. Going back to the actual destruction of the firearms, manufacturer FFLs often destroy firearms that don't meet quality control standards for obvious safety concerned reasons, and the fact that nobody wants to buy a firearm that has something messed up on it straight out of the box. You're not going to, doesn't matter what the item is, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that with firearms. We're not going to do that with knives, kids' toys, kitchen products, nothing. If it's not made the way it's supposed to be made and not going to perform the way it's supposed to perform, why would a customer buy it if the item's messed up from the get-go? We're just not. So those things get destroyed in one way or another. How much of that gets recycled, that just depends on the item, depends on the company. So with the actual police department, the vast majority of these firearms, and it's not just Oregon, and it's not just Democratic states or departments that are affiliated politically with Democrats or liberals or whatever. Even the Republican states, even Republican supporting police departments and law enforcement departments, a gun that was used in a crime, altered to a degree of where the firearm's no longer FFL compliant, and totally illegal. Somebody who totally sawed off a shotgun so that the barrel's less than 10 inches. It's now illegal. And so these firearms at one point or another get confiscated, and they've got to be destroyed. You can't sell that. You can't redistribute that out to the public because it's not legal. And it's not the firearms that were used in committing a crime that actually killed somebody. You can't redisperse those. Are you serious? What if that gun, gets used by a total 100% law-abiding citizen that's just trying to protect themselves or their family or their property, and it's totally legit, there's nothing wrong with what they did, but that firearm has that stamped history to it because it was linked to other crimes? Boy, would that make it all that much more difficult in a courtroom to sort out whether or not what they did with this firearm was right or not, because that firearm has a past, has a history. So that's kind of the big reason why law enforcement and federal agencies cannot resell those firearms that were used in evil situations by evil people or disturbed, mentally unstable people. So that's why these firearms can't be redistributed, resold. And that's why they have to be destroyed. They have to be broken down to the point where nobody can rebuild it and make it whole again. So, and that's not the fire department's or the police department's fault. That's not Benchmade's fault. There's nobody to blame on that because that's what needs to be done. So those of us who are, firearm enthusiasts that, look at a beautiful rifle or revolver, whatever it is, and just feel that it's a total shame to tear it apart and break it down and cut it up, get over it. You have to get over that because it's what needs to be done. It's the right thing. You can't have that particular firearm be recycled, sent out into the public. It's just, you can't do that. So, do we boycott or don't we boycott Benchmade? Think about it this way. This is how I see it. When you buy a Benchmade, who exactly are you supporting? And to what extent? How much are you supporting them? Think about this. The original knife designer maker, the guy who actually made that and designed that first knife that Benchmade then took and mass produced, he gets a piece of the pie. All the companies that provide the materials to make the knives, all those companies, all those people, they get some small piece of that pie. Next, the Benchmade employees that put their that's their paychecks, their time, their energy that they spent at Benchmade producing, manufacturing, and distributing each and every knife. They've got families to feed. That's their job. And on top of that, how many jobs have you done that you didn't agree with the company's policies or the way that you were doing the job or the certain parts of the job that you were doing, but you did it anyways because it was just a short-term thing, it was just a one-time thing, or you valued that job and that paycheck too much, so you dealt with it and you swallowed that pill. Think about how many times you've done that. I've done that a handful of times. I'm not happy about it. I'm not proud of it. None of us really are. But we did it what we felt like we had to do at the time. So, all those things, all those people are affected by boycotting a company that did something as a favor to a local community police department. And it's not like the guns, there was a way around not destroying the firearms. The firearms had to be destroyed. So, small amount of corporate funds shifted to politics, yes. Okay, so it's out there now that Benchmade gave money to these politicians. These politicians are Democrats. Who knows what exactly the reasons are, the full story behind that. Again, don't take partial information. Fill in the gaps for yourself to what you think and make a decision based off of that, because you could be very far wrong in the wrong direction with your train of thought just because of your influence from one thing or another. And then with that, think of all the millions of dollars that are channeled into all the individuals that collaborating. We're talking about the knife designer, the material companies and providers, the employees at Benchmade. Those are, numbers-wise, that's millions of dollars, maybe even reaching into the billions. All those people collaborating together to make that one Benchmade knife that you bought. And the fact that you have absolutely no idea if each and every person that put a finger or had their hands involved in that Benchmade knife that you have in your pocket or you just purchased, what their political views are, whether or not they are Second Amendment supporters or anti-Second Amendment supporters, or if they're Democrats or liberals. You have no idea. I have no idea. So, am I going to totally discredit Benchmade and not buy their knives and not support their company because of one thing that they did or two things that they did in this case? One, channeling some money to some Democrats, or two, the helping out of the Oregon Police Department. That's totally your call. I've made up my decision on that one. I feel like this whole situation is being blown way out of the water, totally media fed, and people are getting upset for the wrong reasons and not looking at all the facts. That's kind of why I felt like it was really important to do this video, because I want you to think. You're smarter than the media. You're smarter than just looking at a few statements and filling in all the details on your own without actually doing the research, without actually thinking about it and looking into yourself as far as what am I doing by boycotting a company. Is that the right thing to do? Should I be doing that? Is it fair to all the people who had nothing to do with the money to the Democrats or the destruction of these firearms? And why were these firearms destructed? Why was Benchmade doing what they did as a lending hand in providing the facilities and the tools to do it? So in the end, it's totally your choice. And that's the beauty of it, is each and every person's choice. Boycott, not boycott. Be mad at Benchmade, don't be mad at Benchmade. Buy their knives, don't buy their knives. That's a big perk of being in America and being an American, is that we have that choice. So be thankful for that. That's also engulfed into our Constitution and what our rights are as U.S. citizens. So be proud of that. It's not just about the Second Amendment in the grand scheme of things. So, I hope this helps. I hope this clears some air for some people. I hope this, gets some individuals to really think about the whole idea of boycotting a company and understanding that you can't just look at what gets thrown at you up front. You need to do a little research, and you need to have that thought process and understand the grand scheme of everything. So, that's it for the video today. I'm done with my rant and raving. Felt like this was an important subject to cover. I did this video for you guys. I want you guys to do that thinking process and really look into it and make a smart decision on everything. Hit like, subscribe, hit the unlike. Again, I did this video for you. I got some videos coming out within the next week or so on some other products, some other items, some fun stuff that I want to share with you on what I've been doing lately. So look out for those. And until next time, I'm out.